we're grateful that you took the time to attend our award ceremony. I would love to introduce the official party and your Army instructor, Lieutenant Colonel James Jones, our guest speaker, Lieutenant Colonel James Stovall, Army instructor, Sergeant First Class Calvin Royal, and our battalion commander, Ruby Santos Melendez. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of colors and remain standing for the national anthem and Pledge of Allegiance. The national anthem will be sung by our Charlie Company Supply and Admin, Cadet Master Sergeant Chloe Clark. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Parents and guests, you may now be seated. At this time, I will now introduce our battalion staff. Battalion S5 Cadet Captain Aviana Reed. Battalion S4 Cadet Captain Tara Dunleavy. Battalion S3 Cadet Major Kamari Starr. Battalion S2 Cadet Captain Luis Rosario, who was a part of the Color Guard. Battalion S1 Cadet Captain Sophia Diaz and Cadet Captain Haley Boyle. Our Command Sergeant Major, Cadet Command Sergeant Major Gary Savory. Battalion Executive Officer, Cadet Major Una Tolentino. And Lieutenant Colonel Santos Melendez. Now I'd like to invite our Senior Army Instructor, Lieutenant Colonel James Jones, to make his opening remarks.
The award ceremony at Armwood and at most places are a long-standing tradition. The cadets that have put this together have done a tremendous job. Those parents that don't know, we do not put this together, the ROTC instructors. It's done entirely by the Cadet Corps. We do give them advice and we do guide them. I have a prepared presentation here from the cadets that I'm not going to use. What I do want to say is that I come from an academy that has 500 cadets in it. And I would place what I saw here today against anything that they can do. I would ask that every parent, please, and a round of applause for my cadets. Thank you. That was an outstanding display of presentation, organization, and management. I just want everybody to know that. It's my pleasure to introduce the guest speaker to you today. So Lieutenant Colonel Jim Solval, retired. I got a few notes here. You would think I would know this without having to look at the notes. He and I have been friends now for, 10 plus years? Yeah, but I don't. Anyways, he's married to Rowena for 18 years. He's got 2 children, Evan, 25, and Aaron, 24. Evan is in the United States Navy, and that's a great kid there. He trained with me also. He was 25 years in the Army and the Medical Service Corps. He retired in 2012. Currently, he is a civilian employee at United States Central Command as a strategic planner. He doesn't like me to highlight this, but this is the man in the know because you are looking at a strategic planner for a pandemic across the entire world. At this time, I'd like to Jim Solval, retired.
First off, good afternoon. Now, I'll tell you something. First, I'm going to try to figure out so I don't spill this water on myself, and I'm going to take my mask off. I haven't stood at attention that long since probably 13 years, so that was pretty cool. And it brought me back home. Reminded me of when I was a battalion commander, which was one of the last assignments I had in the Army, and change of command ceremony. So in light of that, and knowing also that you're in masks, and this is, well, I'm sure that there's air conditioning in the room. When I say I'm going to be brief, unlike Colonel Jones, and he is the guy that runs the dojo, owns the dojo that I go to, and that's my connection primarily. And when he steps on the mat, he's like, I only want to talk to you for a minute. About 20 minutes later is when we're still done or just about done. So I promise not to do that to you. So especially given the fact that it's a little stuffy in here. And for me, I didn't realize you lock your bathroom. So I'm going to try to really be quick. All right. So anyway, with that, it's a great pleasure to be here with all of you today. And, between the companies, the staff, you guys look awesome. Who am I? A little bit of a bio, obviously. I was in the Army for 25 years. I was an Army Medical Service Corps officer. Served a number of different places. I served in Desert Storm, in the 1st Infantry Division. I was in the 82nd Airborne Division as a captain. I was a battalion commander in the 101st as a lieutenant colonel. And then, I was last assignment, I was at U.S. Central Command, where I was the chief of plans and operations for the Command Surgeon's Office. Now, So that's me, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So I've done some things and been some places, and met a lot of really cool people, and I'm 100% grateful for the time that I was in the Army, because it's really set me off, on kind of where I am in my life. So that's who I am. But what about you guys? Okay, and I'm using that gender neutral. Okay, so you all. What about you all? All right, so there's some of you, I'm going to throw a number out at you all. All right, I almost caught myself there. You all. Let's go with, the number is 144 and 720. Anybody know what that is? Probably not. That's the amount of weeks and actual school days in a general high school. All right. If you are if you're a freshman going into your sophomore year, that number goes down to 108. I'm not going to do the math, and I won't try to compute it publicly, because I embarrass myself when I do that. If you're a sophomore going to become a junior, it becomes 72. And if you're a junior becoming a senior, you got 36 weeks of school left. And I did do the math for that. That's like 180 days. Okay. Now, wherever you're sitting, that may seem to you like, oh my God, that's like so far in the future, but it goes by really quickly. So one of the comments I'll leave with you today is that, and it kind of framing, the whole point about this is kind of helping frame choices and decisions as you have in your life about what you're going to do. So one of the things I'll throw off first off is, if, for some of you, you're probably you want to go to college. And for many of you, you have probably done the things that you need to do to prepare for that, both financially as well as academically. All right. For others, you may be kind of ambivalent or have, not quite the preparation for one or the other. And for some of you, that it may not be something that you want to do at all, right? So the thing I would say, if you're not that first category, think really hard, if you're in that second and third category, about going in the military, all right? I'm not here to do recruiting. I know it worked for me. It may not work for you. But the idea there is, I'll throw this out, that college is way more expensive today than it was in my day. All right. And there are lots of options out there, and college isn't the only answer. One of the great things to buy some time, now if you go to college, you can rinse and repeat, 144 and 720 or ballparkish, whatever that is. But, at the end of it, eventually you're going to get to the point where you got to make a decision, about what comes next. All right. And that's really what I'm going to try to help frame for you. But the key piece before I break off on that, if you're only partially committed, don't be like my son, who burned 2 years of my GI Bill trying to figure out that he didn't want to be in college. All right. Because maybe when he gets out of the Navy, he can declare me as a dependent, and then I can go and get my master's, but we'll see. Anyway, if you're not committed to it, understand that's a lot of money. It's a lot of time, And one of the other things is, just because you don't know what you're going to do or what you want to do with your life, careers and occupations, vocations, whatever you want to call it, they're like clothes. You don't have to wear just one set for your entire life. You can wear many. Some won't fit you. Some might. So the thing is, you won't know till you try them on, right? Don't buy something that's super expensive and it's so expensive that, it's like my shoes. I wear these with like duct tape because they give me blisters, but they cost too much not to wear them. Hopefully you don't get a career like that. But anyway, I digress. So one of the things, ultimately, I'll leave that whole point in a diatribe behind about college. If you're not committed to it, and only partially, think about doing something else. And the military is an awesome way to do it, because it'll help you do it. And more to the point, you can do both, but one helps pay for the other. So I would highly submit, if you're only partially committed, go into the military. All right. Now, the other piece is along the way, you're going to come to points where you have to figure out what's next. For me, I always wanted to be two things when I was growing up. One was a lawyer like my dad, and the other one was a soldier. And when the opportunity came to become a soldier, I jumped on it because to me, it seemed way more cool. All right. Amongst other things too. But I mean, that was the primary thing. It sung to me on a level that just made sense. And that took me through 25 years of a career till I got out on the other end. And then I'm like, now what am I going to do? And one of the things I'll throw out to you, if you can't figure out what you want to do in life, in the military, we have this thing called a PACE plan. Anybody know what it is? All right, so P is primary, A alternate, C contingency, and E is emergency. All right, so that's kind of like a plan A through D. But in terms of having 4 equal plans, you're spending more time at the beginning at the P and very little at the E, right? But the idea is you're thinking about different things to do along that you can make come true. And the P, the primary, is the one you spend the most amount of time on. And then you work your way down the chain there. So as you're trying to figure that out, you got a PACE plan, right? If you can't figure out anything else. If you kind of have an idea, the other thing I would throw out to you, and this is really drove me for much of my life. I always try to ask myself the question, where do I want to be in 5 years? And have that idea in my mind of what it was. That helped me throughout my career. And then kind of sort of after I retired too, I still kind of have that mindset, although my goal is a little bit beyond 5 years, more like 10 to 15, and I'm about halfway through it. But I know where I want to go. And the thing about that is that, if you don't know where you're going to go, or at least have a concept of an idea, any road will take you there, right? And generally speaking, that's around in circles. So have an idea. And then along the way, I go back to the idea of changing clothes. If that doesn't suit you anymore, change it, because you can. A perfect example, my wife has had like 4 different careers throughout her life, besides the burden of being married to me. But the key part there is you're not just stuck with one. So, I would think, pose that question to yourself. Where am I going to be in 5 years? And then as you're trying to make choices, think about, is what I'm doing right now going to help me get there or not? And the answer might be yes, it might be no. It might be, in the perfect case of my daughter, she's an English teacher in China right now, because that's what she did coming out of college. Her undergrad was in Mandarin, right? So, and that doesn't come from me, by the way. That is a whole other side of the gene pool, I think. But the bottom line is that some of her choices may just not necessarily be tied to 5 or 10 years. They're tied to having a fun and productive life right now, and that's okay. Now, if you're still doing that in your 30s, then there's other words that we describe people like that. But when you're in your 20s, that's okay. So anyway, where am I going to be in 5 years? Because that's something that should drive you. And then the other thing I want you to, and this is the last point I'll make. I first heard this from actually it was the wife of a colonel. And it was probably one of the things that stuck in my kit bag along the way, more than probably anything else. It's, you may be somewhere where you don't like where you're at, right? Everybody's there, trust me, that's part of adulting. But the thing is that you got to bloom where you're planted. One of the perfect examples of that. Now, I got to be a soldier. That's what I wanted to be, right? But on me, in my senior year, when they actually told me what branch I was going to be, they told me I was going to be a medical service corps officer. And I first had to ask them what that was, because I wasn't a med student, but it actually was, it was not a doctor. I had no concept of that. It wasn't even one of the 10 things that I tried to pick to join the military, join the Army in, right? But I have my plans, and the Army has its, and the Army won. So the thing that, so there's this thing about 5 stages of death and dying. It's from like psychology, right? And it starts with, I think, anger, denial, and I may have them wrong, but Colonel Jones can tell you, because that's his wheelhouse. But the bottom line is I went through all 5. But I eventually got to the point where I realized, if I wanted to eat, when i.e. get paid and have a job, that I had to be the best medical service corps officer I could be, regardless of the fact of whether I wanted to be there, because that's what the Army decided it wanted for me. All right. That's what the nation needed me to be. And if I wanted to eat, that's what I had to do, So that was one of those things, so as you're along the way, you're going to get to points in your life where you're not in the optimal position where you want to be, or you may not completely love what you want to be, but you got to bloom where you're planted, right? Because if you don't, you wilt and die, and then the other thing is, while you're there, try to connect value, in some way, shape, or form. And only you can answer that, but try to connect value to what you do. So in the grand scheme of things, I no longer get that to jump out of airplanes or rappel out of helicopters. I sit in an office, and if I had to describe beyond the bio what I do, most of you would be asleep in about a minute or so, probably even sooner, because your eyes would glaze over, but I can in the stuff that I do, I can connect directly to it, to the defense of the nation. And that's how I have value, how I see value. And that's what gets me up in the morning, hops in the car and commutes to work. So because I can see value in what I do. Now I work for the Department of Defense. Value for you may be, working a part-time job to do something to enable some objective. Whatever it is, you have to determine it. But, we all in real life have to bloom where we're planted, because we don't necessarily get to be where we want to be at that time. So you have to create value to it. Now, with that said, I'm at 11:20. And I am going to stop with, other than it was really awesome to be here today, summarize, you got to bloom where you're planted, and think about, have a vision about where you're going to be in 5 years. God bless you. And I'm not sure I'm supposed to end. So peace.
We will now begin presenting our annual awards. Please remain seated as the cadets receive their awards. There will be time for pictures after the ceremony. The Daughters of 1812 consist of descendants who aided the American cause during the War of 1812. These ladies carry on the tradition of patriots such as Francis Scott Key, who wrote the Star-Spangled Banner. At this time, we ask our battalion commander, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Ruby Santos, to present this award. The recipient is Tatiana Jacobs. The retired instructor group was formed by former Hillsborough County JROTC instructors. Their mission is to continue to support current JROTC programs countywide. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. The recipients are Rico Cole and Melody Caraballo. The Military Officer Association Award is awarded to one cadet for demonstrated exceptional leadership potential. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. The recipient is Sophia Diaz. The Retired Enlisted Association Award is given to a cadet who demonstrates passion for the program and portrays JROTC qualities through their leadership and academic abilities. This award will be presented by Sergeant Royal. The recipient is Chloe Clark. The The Hillsborough County Veterans Council Award is given to a cadet who presents outstanding qualities of a JROTC leader. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. The recipient is Ruby Santos Melendez. The America's Guard of Honor Award is presented to a cadet who displays outstanding leadership, military experience, and motivation for the program. This award will be presented by Sergeant Royal. The recipient is Marlon Josbert. The American Veterans Association Award is presented to a cadet for diligence in the discharge of duties and a willingness to serve God and country for the mutual benefit of all. We'd like to have our battalion commander, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Ruby Santos, to come forward to make the presentation. The recipient is Una Tolentino. The Brandon Chamber of Commerce Award is awarded to cadets who have proven themselves to be examples for the battalion through their service or academics. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones and Sergeant Royal. The recipients for this award are Patrick Boyle, Jamie Lee Shellhorn, Deshaun Love, Bryce Bates, and Talia Fensky. The Daughters of American Colonists is awarded to the cadet who shows pride for their program and displays themselves in a way to reflect upon the qualities of a leader to the cadets. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. The recipient is Aviana Reed. The Daughters of the American Revolution Award is awarded to the cadet who displays exceptional leadership while assigned to JROTC. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. The recipient is Haley Boyle. The 101st Airborne Association Award is awarded to the cadet who exemplifies the virtues of the Screaming Eagle Division while assigned to JROTC. This award will be presented by Sergeant Royal. The recipient is Michael McCoy. The Order of the Daedalians Award is presented to a cadet who shows love of the program, service to their country, and strong patriotism. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. The recipient is Luis Rosario. The Special Forces Association Award is awarded to a cadet who exemplifies the virtues of the Green Berets while assigned to JROTC. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. The recipient is Gary Savory. The Vietnam Veterans Association Award is awarded to the cadet who exemplifies the virtues of the brave men and women who served faithfully during the Vietnam War while assigned to JROTC. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. The recipient is Esther Doan. The Purple Heart Award is awarded for everyday leadership demonstrated while enrolled in JROTC. This award will be presented by Sergeant Royal. The recipient is Tara Dunleavy. The Sojourner Award is awarded to the cadet who demonstrates the highest attributes of Americanism. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. The recipient is Isi Sigaroglu. Not here? Okay. The Association of the U.S. Army Award is awarded to the cadet who demonstrates outstanding dedication to citizenship, knowledge of civic responsibility, military orientation, self-discipline, and a sound work ethic. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. The recipients are Isaiah Lugo and Lena Arenas. The Sons of the American Revolution Award is presented to the cadet who demonstrates a high degree of merit with respect to leadership qualities of military bearing and general excellence. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. This year's recipient is Kamari Star. The Scottish Rites Americanism Award is awarded to the cadet who demonstrates exceptional merit service to JROTC. This award will be presented after the program. Destiny Perez, please stand. Give her a round of applause. The Military Order of the World Wars Award represents the cadet who exemplifies the Army core values and the Cadet Creed. At this time, we ask our battalion commander, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Ruby Santos, to come and present the award. The recipient is Yamila Hernandez. The United States Army Recruiting Command Award is awarded to the cadet who demonstrates the Army core values. This award will be presented by Sergeant Royal. The recipient is Israel Fieros. Not here. The Sons of American Union Veterans Award is presented to a cadet who displays patriotism and excelling leadership. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. The recipient is Isaiah Rodriguez. The Celebrate Freedom Foundation Award is given to the cadets who display the personal attributes of initiative, judgment, and self-confidence. The award is sponsored by Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. The recipients are Forrest Mulholland, Nia McFadden, Adam Maynard, and Elijah Doan. This now brings us to our local awards. The event winners for the Cadet Challenge will be receiving a medal for having the best scores in their designated event. This will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. Curl-ups, Michael McCoy and Yamila Hernandez. Push-ups, Aiden Ruiz and Yamila Hernandez. V-sit, Brennan Crandell and Yamila Hernandez. The mile, Kamari Star and Yamila Hernandez. Shuttle run, John Rodriguez and Tara Dunleavy. doesn't matter. The Academic Achievement Ribbon is awarded to the cadets with the highest state GPAs per LET level. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. LET 1, Bryce Bates. LET 2, Chloe Clark. LET 3, Sophia Diaz. And LET 4, Una Tolentino. The Distinguished Academic Achievement Ribbon is awarded to the cadet with the highest overall weighted GPA. This award will be presented by Lieutenant Colonel Jones. The recipient is Una Tolentino with a 7.2. We would also like to recognize a cadet for a new award this year. This cadet has been chosen as the most improved throughout this school year, broadcasting excellence and being a promising cadet in our program. The recipient is Trinity McGill. The Superior Cadet Award is presented to the outstanding cadet in each LET level. This is the highest award a JROTC cadet can achieve each year. Lieutenant Colonel Jones will make the presentation. For LET 1, the recipient is Titus Overton. Yeah. For LET 2, the recipient is Haley Boyle. LET 3, Sophia Diaz. Yeah. And LET 4, Gary Savory. Now I'd like to call up our Battalion Command Sergeant Major to announce our Hawk Battalion Honor Company for the 2020-2021 school year.
Order! Number Alpha. Arms.
At this time, we'd like to recognize all our graduating cadets. Please come up as I call your company. Staff, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta. You guys can come up. All seniors.
Oh no. All right, let's give them all a round of applause. All right. We would also like to thank our graduating staff members to stay standing to receive their graduation stoles. Yeah, we rehearsed this. At this time, we are only giving stoles to our battalion commander and the collegiate seniors graduating next week. But all seniors will have their stoles in time for graduation. All right, let's give them a round of applause. At this time, we will conduct the ceremonial change of command for the Hawk Battalion. The change of command ceremony is rooted in military history dating back to the 18th century during the reign of Frederick the Great of Prussia. At that time, organizational flags were developed with color arrangements and symbols unique to each particular unit. To this flag and its commander, the soldiers of the unit would dedicate their loyalty and trust. When a change of command was to take place, the flag was passed to the individual assuming the command. This gesture was accomplished.
What are you doing?
Camera.